Hello everyone and welcome to the USS Gungnir, the Spear of the 10th Fleet. We are gathered from across the galaxy to play Star Trek Adventures, a tabletop RPG by our friends at Modifius. Every week we continue our adventures on the wild and wonderful frontier of the Federation. And yep, there's one thing I missed. There we go. Now I have the other script. And how's everyone doing tonight? All the caffeine. Yeah, I actually got the other one. And all right. And with that, let's begin our adventure. After the Battle of the Dusk Machine, the Gungnir slowly plods their way back to Starbase Aegis, escorting a medical fleet. Finally, after 2 weeks, the flotilla pulls into dock. In the meantime, Chief Petty Officer Williams is preparing for a command test as she throws her hat in for the security, the chief security officer. And the gears turn as the future heist on the Federation latinum looms in the distance. Question is, how would the Gungnir crew stop a heist that has already happened? Maybe one of these days I'll actually get that timing down right. All right. Stepping back a little bit. Holana. We still have some embassies to set up with the Chigo. Do we know where the counter embassy would be? Would the Chigo want a Chigo embassy in the Federation somewhere? Terms of agreement and other such things still need to be set up. I'm saying these are issues that still need to be addressed. So, right now, a temporary embassy on Deep Space Arcania, which is in their backyard, and eventually move them towards a station at Starbase Aegis. Mm-hmm. And what would the timetable be to move a embassy to Starbase Aegis? Do the Klingons have any uh diplomatic ventures in the region yet? Like, do they have embassies and ambassadors, or is it just the house powers as of yet? All right, all right. Um, yeah, we'll go to send and the recommendations and the preliminary talks with the Chigo and the Federation through. To a presence command difficulty 3, complication 2, because we're still kind of on shaky terms with the Chigo and we might misstep somewhere. Absolutely. Yeah, the Klingons aren't really a factor yet. They're a looming factor. Unless Solana wants to pull strings with House of Gita to say, hey, we call dibs on diplomatic ventures. Yep. Yes, that sounds good. Band communications. Yeah, everyone has a different location. Would you like to succeed at cost? The cost is that House of Kita has already reached out to the Chigo, so both your deals are on the Chigo's table at the same time. So they are you're competing with a Klingon diplomat for the Chigo's attention. Mm-hmm. And something I let everyone do last week, but you were not here. You also have some downtime, so probably between all the deals and repairs to the ship, you have three 3 to 4 days of downtime. I'm on DSSE. What would you like to do? Let's see. There is a concert on the station, and a fairly good one as well. And spend a little. Threat. Presence con difficulty 3 complication issue 2 to see how well you can peruse the masses and how well you enjoy this concert. You like get into the groove of it. Yes, I'll allow that. You go to the concert and you're kind of uh, distracted by thoughts. You keep thinking about out different people you wanted it to meet, and you tried uh perusing in some of the underground. And you didn't really get anywhere with it. But a couple days later, we ship out of DS. We ship out of DSSE, and you are escorting some medical frigates, the USS Pierce and the USS McIntyre. Between them and yourselves, you have over 2,000 injured or in critical condition. Yes. Yes, your breaches are repaired. And yeah, between you, the Pierce, and the there's over 2,000 people who are critically injured and need a more extensive long-term care that DSA will be able to provide. And there's also going to be some people on DSA who's going to rotate in to fill their air spots. Unfortunately, these vessels can only manage warp 7, so it takes a little bit of time to get there. But in the 2 weeks he's over there, would you guys like to work on any projects or research, development? Still have questions and it's about the. Go ahead, Doctor. You could definitely look. The dead. You're talking about the corpse. You can look into that, but it's kind of more of a sciencey question. Okay. You could definitely look into that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Not really. That's not quite what's happening here. Essential science from the ship. That is enough. I'll DM you. Is there any prep you want to do for or the time heist? The Federation Diplomatic Corps has arranged a relief fleet to go down the Silk Road to help the Chigo, and through various nefarious means, you found out that at the latinum that was used to pay off the Gorn came from this fleet. So the Gorn that were paid off to kill Captain and Calder were paid off by a latinum stolen from a fleet that will be launching in a month. No, it's still a month out, and they're still like gathering the resources for this fleet. But based on the information in Chief Petty Officer Williams found, the latinum will be stolen and from this fleet in a month's time. So, Captain Calder. Yeah. What's the plan and for this is time heist? You know, that the latinum's going to be stolen. And we also know that information flows forward through time and gives warnings. Yes? So my sound's not going out or no sound's going out? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Wait 30 seconds. Oh. Yep, only hear GM. All right. Give me a second.
He meant, but then I realized, oh wait, I have the Twitch stream muted, so I don't get confused.
Oh yeah,
All
that is the worst.
Yep, I should have done test stream. I goofed.
That's fine.
It happens.
Yay! Yeah, and as I said, OBS just like reset itself as I moved for some silly reason.
It happens.
Oh, we're good now.
All the time. Yeah.
According
Anyway,
to Jake.
continuing on. Now with sound.
Yes, now that people can hear us.
Yes, people cannot hear us as I look to the fourth wall.
No, Technicolor and Dolby
Windex.
Sound. All right. So, are we planning on just observing this theft going on?
Aren't we wanting to prevent it?
I mean, there's the idea of preventing it. It might have repercussions because I don't know if it's like if it was part of Q's like a plan to have me return back to the timeline.
The chief petty offers against it on the sheer fact that it would fuck with the timeline.
Well, I mean,
Timeline's timeline. Who cares?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're Starfleet. Timelines are what we mess with. I guess the question is, how would it affect the time, or how do we think it would affect the timeline? Is this the latinum that was used to pay the assassin, or the would-be assassins of the captain?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same latinum.
Like,
so if we prevented it, then they don't get paid. So there's no attempt.
Yeah, and I don't know if the attempt is part of.
Since the attempt failed, maybe we should just let it go.
Yeah, like. Yeah, because with that attempt, we found out these temporal.
Right, we wouldn't even know about the temporal assassins without the attempt.
I think best case, like, at least just observe without doing anything serious. Because
I mean, knowing who stole it would be nice.
Yeah, they're presumably hired, but who they are might give us some indication of who the puppeteer is.
Yeah.
Next logical step in the process. And if they're not dead at the moment.
Curiouser and curiouser. Any other thoughts at this moment, or anything we want to look into?
I mean, Sorel will have been working on trying to deduce likely suspects for the puppeteer, and studying the information that we got at the briefing with respect to the multiple timelines and trying to identify a pattern.
It is currently impossible to deduce who the puppeteer is. There's not enough information.
Oh, that won't stop Sorel, but understood.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you can try looking into it and spend hours and days in labs trying to figure it out, but there's not enough information to figure out what's going on.
Yep. With nothing better to do, he will bang his head against that wall.
Maybe we might get some assistance from the temporal, or the Department of Starfleet, if they might help us figure out this jump around. We'll get a more linear path of where this money is jumping. Like either like plant a tracker.
No,
Like
there's an
inside,
idea.
like plant some form of tracker inside of one of these bars of latinum. Because I doubt these guys, the guys who hired those assassins, seem like the guys who would count their latinum.
Well, you could even put a tracker, like, you can almost beam it into the center where the gooey latinum center is. And it's like, unless you're willing to crack the thing open, and you're willing to sit there and tricorder every single brick, you know, it wouldn't be obvious to the eye, sort of thing. Because most trackers can be super tiny.
So
Yeah,
the intention now is to contact the Department of Temporal Investigations, say, hey, we have a thing going on, and try to get at some of their information on it.
We'd have to do it carefully to avoid leaving a footprint.
Alternatively, could reach out to Starfleet Intelligence, because the only downside with speaking with the DTI is that they are a civilian arm of the Federation, and we'd have to convince them not to write it down or record it. Starfleet Intelligence might be more likely to, you might be able to ask them, hey, could you like keep this off the books for a bit? Or DTI, depending who you can get to. Because it may just grab jurisdiction. Is the problem.
I mean, best case is to use Starfleet Intelligence to contact them and get the assistance without leaving a paper trail. Because
I have a question, GM.
Yes?
Is there any way I can create an advantage? Basically to use her previous stint in Starfleet back, I don't know, 80 plus years ago. Because I had talked to you about it. She actually had made it to Admiral the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She actually took the rank so she could do, but I was going to ask, do you think I can use some of those contacts to not leave the paper trail to Starfleet Intelligence? If any of them, like the Admirals, are Vulcans or something? Like a
I'll be
presence
willing
command role or whatever?
Yeah, I'll be willing to let you do a roll on that.
Mm-hmm. She would go to the captain and offer that, you know, she was a former admiral. If you want, she can call in some favors.
okay.
Presence Command, difficulty 3, complication 4, because you are asking asking members of the Admiralty to leave things off the book.
Yeah.
Ship can assist with communications command.
Be right back.
Okay. We will. I'm going to see if I have a value that would work for this before I spend the milestone. I mean, the only thing I can think of is either the long life one, or sometimes a smile doesn't cut it. She's actually just going, going right back into command, like, yeah, no, this is what we need done.
You would need to grab a determination because you spent yours earlier.
Milestone.
From which episode? Which event?
What event was it? Oh, it was, crap. Oh, it was during the, I believe it was the Dusk Machine, right before I had to cut out. She had commanded and directed the whole of the medical part of the entire fleet. I was there.
Mm-hmm. I'll accept that. That's pulling on your previous command experience.
Yep. And we will go have fun with all the threat, because I'm gonna roll 4 dice. And look at all that. Ah, crap.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Hey, I succeeded though. She just probably burned every favor she ever had.
Yeah, most likely.
So the doctor was an admiral once in her own life? Is that?
Mm-hmm. About
What-
80 years ago, yeah.
Oh, wow. Gave up that
Yeah.
rank to do something else? Was that the...
No, she retired, and then the Borg attacked her home planet,
Oh.
and the whole thing with the Lakul happened, and she re-enlisted, and instead of going back to Admiral because she wanted to be active, she decided to start back at Lieutenant,
Huh.
and has thus made it back to Commander.
Fascinating.
So in other words, it's been a long road getting from there to here.
Oh, dear. Please, not that.
It's been a long time, but that time is finally here.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, the ship can still help. So you might be able to juice some momentum off this.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Not enough to squash both of those, but comms command,
Yeah.
yes.
Nope.
Okay, so one of the complications is you have you've basically burned several bridges getting this done. You're asking admirals to not follow protocols, and they don't like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And
She's using secrets that she has. Yeah.
Secrets are kind of strong arming some of them. Some people want to remain admiral, and the other one's a surprise.
I don't know.
That's going to be a secret tool for later.
And that's fine.
Oh, God.
But she'll, hand the thing over to the captain. Be like, there's your file, Captain.
Thank you.
She nods. And she'll, step to the side.
I would like to read through the file.
Doctor, remind me again what you were looking for?
She was, well, she was hoping them get the intelligence file for what they were looking for. So it's actually whatever they were looking for.
Okay, so intelligence file on timeline fact. Okay, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. They were like, well, we don't want to go through the normal chain of commands. The doctor was like, well, I can pull some favors, and ended up burning half the bridges she knows. So, yeah.
You
Can't use
might
that
be able
one
to pull
again.
this again, but it's definitely gonna be harder next time.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
Captain, this is loading up on your pad. All right,
Captain's
information
reading
loaded.
his pad.
Any chance that the species listed off has some kind of physical description, and if they
Not
do,
the
I
first
would.
one, and the second one, yes.
Okay,
For
I will.
one momentum or one threat, you can compare that.
I mean, I was gonna find one and show Williams because I wasn't inside of the dust machine,
Oh, that works too.
because she was actually in there.
The player has been informed about what actually happened.
Oh, I could also show Halana because he was also there.
Mm-hmm.
As I show him.
If you want to show this to a civilian, but
Ahem.
I mean,
I mean, pretty like.
gross.
Well, I mean, he was in the. Okay, Ghost.
Yep,
Don't
all the
worry, I
information's
got you,
been
Commander.
all the information's been sent to your various pads.
Well, more like. Yeah, because I would just show the like pretty much just like the what these aliens would look like too. Like any chance you saw one of these species on the okay, better way of saying that this any chance these are the temporal forces you fought against on the dust machine? Just showing the description to to Goss, Halana.
You would get a message back from Holana that the alien pictured was seen on the station.
Right.
Like a very just flat
Affirmative.
affirmative. Like, no, yeah, that was there. That species was there. I'll note, and I would note that I'm unfamiliar with the species.
As all of you would be.
Okay.
Okay, so instead with the words of what we. Wait, context. Are the
Yes, Calder?
are the yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, the knuckle are a part of the TLF, so
Yep. Yeah, that's confirmed. They confirmed that the species called the Nakul is part of the Temporal Liberation Front. What exactly their goals are, they don't know. They just know that they're opposed by the Future Federation. So we just assume that they're bad guys because, well, obviously the Feds are the good guys.
I think what you what's in these paths. Yeah, I'm a pad pretty much gives me a good description there. Pretty much a group of people who want to change the timeline to their personal gain and without caring about some of the repercussions.
Mm-hmm. And with if those questions weighing on the table, I'm going to pull the captain and commander into a new room.
Oh.
Oh, and you don't have. Whoops. Where's the 10 forward? 10 forward. Forward. There we go. Now you guys should be able to speak.
Hello.
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 All right, so this is regarding Williams command test. I wanted to touch base with you and kind of figure out what qualifications you're looking for, what type of test of character you're looking for. Because as the command staff, you'll be setting the parameters of the test. Some of the options I have
think
is
best case of test would be a variant of the Kobayashi Imegu, because with her current rank, rank and training path that she took, she didn't have the chance to do it, and we don't know her current capabilities of using a shipboard tactical systems.
so shipboard tactical systems in Kobayashi Maru.
Well, a variant of
The variant of the no-win scenario.
yeah, and that and also some that and a tactical test, but let's treat that as quote unquote two separate tests.
Okay, we do two separate tests. Ross, anything to weigh in on that?
My concern, I think, was the intimacy during the interrogation of one of those assassins. Something, I guess, regarding ethics, not crossing that line as the security chief. That would be my focus. Following the law, the rules, 99.9% of the time, but then there's that 0.1% when you might have to break the rules to do the right thing. But that would be my thought on that.
Okay, so do we want to do like a shipboard test, or do we want to do like a squadron test and then move to a ship side test. I have 2 phases to this.
I think we should do the shipboard stuff first, and then that one.
Okay, so shipboard task I'll test basically just running through a ship battle gauntlet, and then afterwards there's a
Yeah, I think
An
best
ethics
way-
test type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think best way to do it with Calde's pass is to have a test with them fighting against a Dominion ship.
I'll have to find the Dominion.
That
Yeah, I could
that
do-
or
I could do Dominion ships really quick.
that or a simple test of what it or just reskinning some of the tester ships as Dominion ships.
Mm-hmm.
If you only had like stat blocks for ships.
Yeah, I don't have stat blocks prepared for Dominion in ships, but I can grab them really quick. I have the books, so I'll just be playing with them off screen.
I think just to make it easy, have it just against one of the fighters.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. And then for the ethics test, did you guys have anything in mind?
I was kind of thinking if Rost were to pretend to be part of this temporal, was it TFL, TLF?
Yeah, Temporal Liberation Front.
Temporal Liberation Front, and offer her a cut of the latinum to help get him, or to help Ross get it off the ship, and not tell the captain, all that kind of thing. See if she goes for that.
I mean with the interrogation, she like I doubt she'll do anything worse than pretty much calling a bluff than yes, even though calling that bluff would be against the regulations. But the thing, best case to understand that she's that with this new promotion, she has to be a bit more grounded towards set regulations, if you catch my drift.
So, make a fake situation where you're going to be smuggling out some of the latinum and see if she wants some of the cut.
Yeah, it's something like, it would appeal to her basically say, hey, look, I'm from the future myself. I've seen what the Federationists do. They turn evil. We've got to get this latinum out of here. I need your help. I'll give you a cut. If you just look the other way while I get it out of the secure storage and do whatever it is, and see how they respond,
If you're willing to roleplay any of that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, that sounds like fun.
Sweet. All right. It says this missions. All right, those are the.
Yeah, I
ground-
think. Yeah, like if you could do that, like if this is gonna be actually part 2 of the test, then yeah, I am 100% for it.
All right. We got alien vessels, scrolling. Jem'Hadar attack ship. There we go. All right. All right. Go ahead and jump back down to Gungnir. We'll get this started.
You okay?
Oh, they're back.
Oh, she just.
Devious plans.
Are y'all talking about us?
No, we're
Yes.
talking about D&D, but yeah, and also you, of course, behind your backs.
You
D&D
talking about D&D? I love talking about D&D. DM's
D&D's
feeling.
our code word for mutiny.
Yeah, I posted my D&D character from a game I'm in, who is part Borg.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Zito's homebrew gave me a homebrew addiction.
All right, let's move this up a little bit, and Williams, whenever you're ready, we have a holodeck simulation set up for you. Chief Williams.
Sorry, I was
Yes.
distracted by a phone call.
Hi, phone call. All right. Yeah, we have the simulation ready on the
Cool.
holodeck. And first one, all the senior staff's going to be involved.
Oh,
Oh, the
Okay.
joy!
Oh, nope. We are not
I have
that.
a feeling I know what this is, and I'm worried.
You should be. Let's see.
it's the holodeck. The holodeck safeties are on. There's nothing bad can happen to us.
And don't worry, it's not all. There's just hologram versions of us.
Totally. All right. Gonna clean up this map a little bit.
Proceeds to summon every report on a holodeck malfunction ever.
Oh, that's got to be pretty.
Do we look like the Enterprise, Voyager, mate,
No,
maybe Discovery?
All right. So,
I'll
all that.
s-
Oh no, we lost a Corby.
no.
Corby, no. And all right. So this is gonna be a ship combat.
Oh joy, the thing I've never done before.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of it either.
I mean-
I think I've done like one or two.
Well, this
I
would be a
think
good trip.
one.
Let's see.
Don't worry, the GM will be in tutorial mode for you.
GM's in tutorial mode. Okay, cool. I do have a token for this. All right.
Attack pattern theta. That's pretty much all I got.
Rhyming speed.
All right. Nothing interesting going on in space. Just a deep space encounter between you and a Jem'Hadar attack ship.
Eh,
I'm not getting more flashbacks. You're getting more flashbacks.
Hey, I'm the one who fought it in the Dominion War.
Hey, me
You
too.
all are adorable. If you knew how many wars I had been in, you all would blush. And or go crazy.
All right. You are starting out at extreme aim range. They are at red alert and closing fast.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much the reason for call for doing this test. If I'm allowed to explain, GM.
Yep. Yeah, you can give them a rundown.
Yeah, pretty much is your basic understanding on how to use the ship's onboard tactical systems.
Lock on thing. Press button. It go pew.
Yep, pretty much. Make this a little more interesting. Two of them attacking at once.
Good.
Don't worry, you have my ability. You have all my helpful abilities.
So are those shields? Is that what we're looking at here? or-
No, that's sensor range.
Sensor
yeah,
range. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sensor range, and the color is based on ship status.
So, both of you are at red alert. Shields are up. Weapons are hot. Inside the first band is medium range. At the edge of it is long. Inside the first circle is close range.
Sure.
And players go first.
I think first the thing would be, even though Malone isn't here, order to move in range to the closest ship.
Impulse action or an attack pattern.
Let's do a attack pattern. No, just the standard move.
Standard move? Okay.
Just to get into a range, and because of my ability, we can keep the initiative without spending for the first round.
All right. Maldon moves the ship in. You are now within medium weapons range.
And Williams, would you like to fire the lasers or shoot things?
Sure. I don't see how this could go terribly wrong.
You did, yeah. You just gotta
Sorry.
pick on what you want to use for a.
Yep, I'll give you the difficulty. Ship test roll. Roll. 30. And weapons. 30. All right. To fire the phasers, it's control security. Normally diff 2. I spent some to make it diff 3 because they're closing in fast on you. And then you're assisted by ship's weapon security. Now with the phaser arrays, you have a couple of options. You can do a subsystem targeting, where you pick a specific system you want to fire in on. That will increase the diff by 1, but guarantee that the first breach you get, it hits that system.
Also, quick reminder is because of the attachments we have on our ship, we have the fast targeting system, which allows us to ignore that difficulty increase.
Good point. Yep, so you can target a subsystem basically for free. Phaser arrays also have area or spread. Area allows you to target more than one target. Spread allows you to hit the same target multiple times.
Yeah. Yes. Spread is pretty much a second hit, but you treat the cut it in half, but you treat it as a second hit, so that way. Well, you could do like all the stuff like if it only has no shields and you do 5 damage still, that's 2 breaches instead of it just being just that.
And since it likely has its shields up, there's not much point in no, it still might go through.
Still might go through, and it will also hit the shields again, so you have a better chance of bringing it down.
Okay. Spread, subsystem target, weapons?
Sure.
Yeah.
Question. Tactical expertise. No, experience.
Give me
The one that allows you to, when you attempt a task, assisted by the ship's computers or sensors. Reroll.
Yeah. When you get to reroll the ship dice.
Yeah, I'm just double checking that's available.
Yes, that would apply now.
Yep, shipboard tactical systems for a focus.
Yep.
What's our threat and
13
Just
threat,
threat,
no
no.
momentum.
13? No. No, I will just. But then I can't succeed. Well, then it's very hard for me to succeed. Do I risk it?
Good for the biscuit.
Is one threat, so that way
One-
I have 3 dice.
1 threat. That's not bad.
Anyway, here comes my roll. Well,
I will give you a determination to reroll those 2 dice.
I will happily take it. I have to pick one, I'm assuming.
You have to pick a value.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to pick a. Yeah.
Hey, I get it back.
Protecting others is more important than yourself.
Not really protective action right now.
My values must be flexible like my commanders.
I mean, I would vouch for Williams' first attempt because for the purpose of treating this simulation as an actual real life situation.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, I'll accept that.
Okay, I'll just redo the thing. Roll with 2 though. There we go. Getting some momentum on the board.
And the ship assists with weapon security.
I'll go the ship assist for you because I already got it all.
Yeah, I was about to say, could someone roll that for me? So,
All right,
1, 2,
2
3,
momentum
4,
on the board.
5.
And that is a hit. So on the ship sheet, you can and roll the phaser damage, and with phaser and energy weapons, you can and juice it a little and put 2 extra power for 2 extra challenge dice. But that just means you run through power a lot quicker.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, that does more damage.
It does more damage. Yeah, it gives you extra dice to roll.
So I would put a 2 in the little marker next to the Starfleet logo.
Mm-hmm. And this shot costs you 3 power altogether.
Yeah, let's hit him hard on the first
Alright.
shot. And it is spread, so
Yep. Roll that challenge dice. And phasers are versatile, so you get it 2 float.
Mhm.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. This is 3, so 7 damage goes through. They still have shields up, but that is 1 breach. And then you did spread. So 5. Let me double check. I think with spread you count the chevrons. I should know this.
Spread, I believe. Don't you have the thingy for it? Cheat sheet for it?
Yeah, I have a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Tactical.
It should be in combat, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cheat sheet's down here. Combat tasks. Yeah, this is no ground combat, not space combat.
Okay, give me a sec.
Oh, I have cheat sheets all over the place.
I know exactly where I can look.
Cheat sheets everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's only half the total damage.
Only half the total damage?
Yeah, because doing half of the dice doesn't.
Spread. The attack has the potential to hit 2 systems on a target at once. If any effects are rolled, half the damage is dealt after resistance. Half of the damage dealt after resistance is dealt to a second target on the ship. Effects after the first one increases the damage to the secondary target by 1.
That's what I thought. Okay. So
Yeah. Oh, we were thinking of devastating, which is a 2 momentum spend, which
Yep.
is you spend 2 momentum to half the damage and treat it as a second attack.
all right, so that half is 5 plus 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, that is 3 breaches. Is 5 more damage, 5 more damage, and shields are down. And so within 1 strike, you blow up one of the fighters. But now it is their turn. 2 players have gone. I should have been more prepared for this. There we go. All right. 1 close in. Spend. And float goes away. Do a phase polar beam. And let's see, I'm gonna be rolling that. I'm gonna roll 3 dice. That is at least 1 hit. Wait. Yeah, I want to do the challenge dice. Spending a threat to reroll. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage, but piercing 8, so I cut through 8 of your resistance. That is 6 damage to your shields.
Ouchie face.
As
So we take a breach. So roll it on GM.
Yep. Breach, breach, breach. Where's my breach table? That is one breach to your structure. Which means...
I mean,
no one on the bridge. It just gets hit.
I thought there's only on the second breach. Because I thought first ones were only just
Impacted. Alright.
yeah.
It is now player's turn.
Are we in range of the other Gemhadar ship?
Yes you are.
Okay, I would like to use a direct Williams to fire on that Gemhadar fighter. So then you get to go again, but I also get to assist with my presence command.
Alright, so control security div 2. Assisted by weapon security. And assisted by Calder's presence and command. Williams, how would you like to make this roll?
Successfully. That's my recommendation.
Show no mercy.
You have 2 momentum on the table. And there's always threat. Williams?
She's still there.
Yeah, sorry. Keep getting annoying phone calls. Telemarketers.
Ugh, they're the worst.
Spam, the worst.
Yes, it's worse because I'm expecting a skip to arrive later
Yeah.
today, so I have to, and they're gonna call just before they get here, so I have to answer every damn call.
You've been directed to fire on the next ship.
Yeah,
it's difficulty 2.
I do go pew with the same as before. But instead of giving you a threat, I will use one of our momentum.
All right.
No. 2.
Oh no.
I'm
Hold
assuming
consistent.
red number is bad.
Red
That's
number bad.
Most of the,
Control
I mean,
could
it might be,
fail.
yeah,
mm,
that means a complication, but don't worry, there's still 2 more rolls that have to go down. Can someone else roll the ship while I roll my assist?
ooh. this is-
Ross, can you roll the ship real quick?
Sure.
4. Five.
Wow, we got enough excess success to quash it.
Yeah, and,
You wanna-
and I'm going to.
You are going to quash that. Excellent.
I would rather quash it than have horrible things happen.
Oh, it won't be that horrible.
Things
Go ahead and
are
roll that
fun,
damage.
though.
Go down 1 more power. Would you like to juice the shot with 2 more power? Or 1 more.
How much power do we have? 9 out of 11.
Yeah.
I'll put 1 more power in.
Power goes down by 2. And
So what's the number I put on next to the Starfleet thing? Just one?
Just one.
Okay. Here we go. Wow.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. For 1 momentum, you can reroll the zeros. You do have 2 float because of the phasers.
Sure. I will re-roll the zeros if that is possible.
Yeah.
1 momentum down.
Yeah. Pretty much just go for challenge dice.
Okay. And how would I do that?
If you go to the top of the sheet underneath the task roller, there's a section for challenge dice. Yep.
Yeah, and then put that to 4.
Hit enter and then hit the chevron.
Yeah. Well, thanks, game.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, this interview's not going so well.
That is not my fault.
I mean, nothing really bad's happening.
Nothing bad's happening yet. But that is enough for 1 breach because these are small ships. And you do have 1 float.
I would like to use it to do a swift action and no wait, I forgot I can't do that twice. I don't have that ability.
You pump it into more damage. You can do a devastating attack. 2.
Yeah,
could-
fuck it. Devastating? Devastating.
Yeah, that adds half, and you could also pop 1 more, the last momentum to give yourself 1 more damage to make that second attack 5 damage.
That would work.
Sure, let's do that.
And that would bring down the shields as well. So with that devastating attack, you successfully take out both ships.
Would.
And Captain Calder, if you're satisfied with the results, this simulation will be over.
Looks like they failed to reclaim their lives.
Calder, or the hologram fades, and you and Williams are standing on the holodeck.
I feel like I've seen that battle before. Shrugs.
Could be something that was part of the Spawn's black box or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, never know. Well, with the result of your test, you are well. I'm satisfied with your ability to the understanding of use of tactical systems. And now for the second part of the test, which will be in charge with the XO loss.
Yeah, I thought we'd do the next part as kind of a informal interview. If you wouldn't mind coming to my office, we could begin.
Lead the way.
All right. If you want to meet me in 10 forward there.
Oh, drinking contest. Go for it.
Do not challenge the chief petty officer
you might
to
wanna-
a drinking contest.
Ross,
I believe he
no!
wants you to pop into the other channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
the other
oh,
channel.
yeah.
I don't
And
believe I
forward
can
channel.
see.
10 forward.
10 forward.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's all the way up top. Or I could drag you
I'm
there.
going to
That's
the
the
right
general one.
Yeah.
Going there now.
I'm enlisted in. Hope you guys don't mind.
No, no.
You're the GM. You're supposed to.
Chief, I really only had one question for you, and it's mainly concerning ethic. You're part of an organization, Starfleet, that has high morals, high ideals, high standards for all its officers. But if you were asked to do something that was legal, but that went against your ethics in a heinous way, say, for example, a Federation colony was in the middle of a rebellion, and you were ordered to fire on a group of mixed civilians and rebels. Would you do that?
I want to say I would, but part of me would hesitate.
How would you hesitate? What would cause you to hesitate?
Don't want civilians to be hurt.
Well, of course, that's only natural for an ethical, moral person. So how would you refuse that order? What would you do instead?
Warning shots first. I would delay as long as I could legally.
And if your commanding officer insists that you do it, that you fire on this village essentially indiscriminately, risking combatants and non-combatants alike.
I would follow the orders, but then I would make a report upon of which I felt the actions were unconscionable and should be looked into.
And you could live with doing that.
I'd have to.
You wouldn't flat out refuse the order.
Everyone has their limits. I just haven't found mine yet. And because I haven't been put in those situations.
Well, let me give you a situation. Suppose the organization that you're a member of at some point becomes completely antithetical to what it stands for. Starfleet is for justice and law and fair play among all its member races, but at some point, what if it turned completely against that, became an evil empire, essentially, destroying everything and anything that disagreed with the powers that be? What would you do then?
Whatever side was against it, I would join, because I do not want to be a part of said organization.
What if I told you that that's what happens in the future? That everything you know about Starfleet is tossed out the airlock. That Starfleet does become that evil empire hundreds of years into the future.
That's the future, that's not now.
But it does happen. I came from that future. And I need your help. I need the person you are to help me prevent that from happening.
That's what I just said. I would either prevent it by happening by rebelling against it, or I would stop it before it happened. At the moment, I can't do that. I'm not even a commissioned officer.
Well, let's say I can say you passed your interview, square everything with the captain. You're now our new security chief. But I need your help right now to prevent this bad future from happening. Is that something you can help me with? Is that something you're willing to do? Are you willing to put your neck out for your beliefs?
Yes. My beliefs are honestly quite simple. I want to protect my family. And if Starfleet is heading in a direction that would jeopardize my family, I have
What
to...
jeopardizes lots of families. I mean, the future of Starfleet and the Federation is horrific.
At the end of the day, people know when it comes to small colonies, you protect your own first. Second is everyone else. Well, everyone else was within the Federation.
Okay. Well, here's your chance to help. Like I said, I came from the future to prevent that future from happening. I don't know what that's going to mean for me. You know, if what I do now prevents me from ever existing in the future. I don't know. It's a chance I've got to risk. And there are lots of people with me doing the same thing for the Temporal Liberation Front. But what I need is to get that latinum off this ship so it can be used for its intended purpose, to prevent this future from happening. As security officer, you would be the person that can do that for me, that can help me with that. Now we can make it look like a situation where something happened, you were overpowered, that kind of thing. But
well,
I need to get that latinum off this ship, onto a shuttle, off this ship.
she would look you up and down, and smile and goes, "Oh, well, if you or the captain didn't told me to make sure I had some men guarding it, I could very easily assign some people I thought could use the experience of a job that I don't think will be too difficult." Not?
Now, if it helps, I can compensate you for this. You know, this latinum is for the purpose of changing the future, and if we have to spend some now to make that happen, fine.
Oh,
I don't know
no.
what your price is, but is it just your good conscience or what? But
Sure.
how many bars of latinum would it take?
So I'm not talking about bars of platinum. I don't want that. That's money is inconsequential. I'm here to protect my family and protect the people who need it the most.
Well, Chief, what I can tell you now, I appreciate your honesty and your ethics, and that what you're doing now will prevent 5 billion beings from dying over the course of the future. Beings that should not have died, that shouldn't have happened. So if you can help me, get this latinum off onto a shuttle. There's a cloaked ship that's been following us since the Dusk Machine was destroyed. It's a TFL ship. I need to get the latinum over there. Probably within the next day or two.
I would like to make a roll to see if the commander is lying his ass off to me. If that is possible.
Absolutely. Let's do.
William.
Actually, let's make this an opposed roll.
Okay.
Williams, Imps, you do insight security. Ross, you can give me presence command. And Ross, you can have 1 extra dice.
Focuses interrogation.
Mhm.
I won't spend any or give any threat if the commander agrees.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
flat
already spent
roll.
threat, so Ross can roll 3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's you. I'm just saying, like,
Yep.
as players. So let's see how I go. Hopes. Ah, come on. I'm not good at insight.
I'll use determination to reroll that.
To what value?
Rules can be bent under the right circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, me and you are going to make a great team.
Gain into momentum. As far as you can tell, Williams, he is telling you the truth, but there's something itching about this.
Look, I can sense your skepticism. You know, is this part of the interview? Is this part of the deal? You know, is he trying to trip me up? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I assure you, it's not. This is the real deal. I'm just taking my opportunity while I can. We have a unique window of time here that we need to get this latinum off the ship and for its intended purpose. If we miss that window, I don't know what the future is going to be like. I don't know if we'll be successful in stopping this Federation turning into an evil empire thing. That's why I'm talking to you now. You got to trust me. You got to believe me on this, that we are doing the right moral and ethical thing. This is what they taught us at the academy. This is what we have to do. But we have to break the rules to do it. But we got to do it. Can I count on you?
I'll follow the orders of my commander and captain.
This is just the orders of the commander. Captain's not involved in this one.
No, it's like she's basically, that's her way of saying, yes, without being like too. That's her covering her bases, basically. She's saying yes without 100% saying yes.
Doing it under her orders, under duress?
No. It's more a matter of she's saying yes covertly.
All right, Chief.
Chief, what is your internal game plan in about this? Do you really want to follow through with this, or are you planning on saying yes and going along and possibly turning him in?
And internal, she's agreeing to what he wants.
Fully agree. You want to bring down the Federation in the future, and help Ross set things right.
She wants to prevent it from happening in the first place. She's very much on the line of if the Federation is going to turn bad guy, I want to avoid that as much as possible.
Ross, through your empathy, you're kind of getting in that feeling of avoidance and doing the right thing to avoid a bad thing.
Chief, I can assure you what you're thinking. You want to avoid a bloodbath. You want to avoid a war. You want to... That's the entire goal of this plan, is to prevent that from happening. We can alter the future and put it on a different trajectory, one that doesn't result in the Federation turning like this. Literally billions of lives hang in the balance here.
You don't have to keep trying to convince me.
What I'm asking is a lot. It's asking you to go against the law.
I could be court-martialed.
We both could. We both could be sent to the ass end of a penal colony.
It'd probably be better than my home.
Oh no, not Australia.
But from what I've seen of the future, any risk is worth doing this. I'm willing to put everything on the line to create this alternate future. I can't tell you what happens to your own family, probably on a different side of the galaxy from mine.
I wouldn't want to know even if you did.
All I can tell you is the untold suffering that I've seen from the future. So, if you're going with me on this, I'll contact you sometime tomorrow about this. We'll make the arrangements, but essentially we'll have to transfer that latinum to the shuttle bay and get it off this ship. We can't transport over to the ship using the transporters. Their cloaking shielding device prevents that. So.
And it would be trackable.
Right. So it's basically going to be get the latinum to the shuttle, get out of there as fast as we can before anybody realizes what's happening, and then disappear.
I'm assuming when you say we with that last part, you're talking about friends, not the two of us.
Pretty much just me. You can make it look like that you were attacked, that you were robbed. This was something that happened.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Look, your best option is to actually knock me out.
Well, if you're okay with that, I can stun you.
She's not saying no.
All right. Well, I think that's enough of a plan right now. Well, congratulations, new head of security. I think you've passed the job interview. I'll inform the captain.
Well, she just gestures to lead the way.
All right. We'll head back to the bridge.
Ross, did you want to talk to the captain in private, or?
Yes.
All right. William's going to go back to the Gungnir. I'm going to steal the captain for a moment. Oh, that didn't go as planned.
Yeah, that was interesting. I keep, I think that I'm being, told what I want to hear, but who knows?
Yeah. After a good half-hour discussion, you, Calder and Ross meet in the ready room of the captain.
So, what do you think, Commander?
Well, Captain, basically, I told Williams that I was a member of this Temporal Liberation Front, that I was needing to steal this latinum to stop the Federation becoming an evil empire, and that I needed their help to get it off the ship. And for the most part, they agreed. I explained, this is basically violating all Federation Starfleet law, but for an ethical reason, and they agreed. So I don't know if they're just telling me what I want to hear and they're going to go, talk to you behind my back, which is possible. Hopefully that's what happens.
Did you say some kind? It depends on what you said. Did you say a lot like like you have some form of some kind of way, like if you do this, this will happen?
I offered them latinum. They refused. They were offering to do this simply on their ethical principles on the situation I presented to them. Step 2 was basically to incapacitate them, get the latinum out of the security room to a shuttle and off to a imaginary temporal liberation front cloaked ship off our ship. So I mean, if you want to carry it that far, we could see if they're willing to participate in that or not.
I think devil's advocate for this situation is that because you're also the chief of engineering, you could have someone, you could have planted some form of booby trap to the ship in case she said no, and just assumed that this booby trap was there in case. If you understand what I'm saying.
Threaten to booby trap our ship?
Well, I meant with you, like I'm saying with you saying that you are part of this temporal thing.
Basically threaten them that if they don't go along with it, I'll blow up our ship?
Yeah, like probably like if she started to say no.
Okay, I can see where that goes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, she assumed you might have done something, and if she said no, you would have said that you've done this. Like, at first seeming against doing this.
So if I go tomorrow to get the latinum, they change their mind, I've got my fake dealie that blows up the ship. If you don't cooperate, I blow it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like, probably to go in the whole, like, if you want to tell her now, like, probably say if you're having cold feet, I have this. Unless you want to continue on without having this whole medical gun on her, well, gun to your back, and just continue how it is. Like, what do you want me to do now after you've done this interview with your test? Because I haven't really gone more into detail with it.
Well, I basically told them that, I would guarantee them being chief of security if they went through with this. So, I think after we're done here, you talk to them, say congratulations, Commander Ross is giving you a glowing review based on your interview. You're now our chief of security. And, we go on from there. And then the next day when I'm ready to carry out this plan, I say, hey, are you ready to do it? And then, if she's still willing, we kind of make it look like we do it. See if they actually carry it out. If she balks, I threaten to blow up the ship. And we kind of see where it goes from there.
I feel like this test is a bit overcomplicated in my above game. Sorry.
Or you could just talk to her right now and see if she says anything or not, and end it there.
Let's not go through the whole charade unless you really want to. Above game as a GM, it might be interesting if Rost, if you want to continue the charade, you go to her and say, "Hey, okay, now we really have to do this, and we have to steal the latinum and destroy the ship." Just throw that on the table and say, in order to pull off our plan, the Gungnir has to be removed from the timeline. So she has to kill all her friends and family.
No, I meant more like not actually blow up the ship. More. If you don't help me, I will blow up the ship.
So just more of a threat over her head. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I feel this test above game is actually over complicated and almost and kind of being in a way a lose, with still you losing, like a
Okay.
negative effect of the Kobayashime where it's a test that's kind of made to fail, and you'll also get a demerit on your record, if you catch what I'm saying.
Yeah, why don't we just talk to her and I guess see if she mentions it to you. Say, hey, I was just, coerced into doing this. I'm good conscience. I can't betray you, and see what happens. And
And also, best case, with me understanding this question, it also me and Calder understanding it, because of how complicated this test is.
Yeah, we're basically just seeing if she's willing to betray the Federation for her values, or if she's willing to put others at risk for personal gain.
Okay.
yeah, let's just wrap it up with that, and that you talking to her and see what happens.
Okay. Sounds good. But in character, we're both cool. All giving her the pip, depending on how this goes, or would we hold her back a little bit?
I'm a part on Pip either way, with pretty much throwing in the equivalent of how Janeway trusted Tom with this much responsibility with his checkered past.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
either way, she gets the pip by the end of the episode, but we're just watching her carefully.
Are you okay with that, Ghost?
I think if she's willing to betray the Federation legitimately, she probably shouldn't be chief of security, but
Okay, I think I'll have you leave and have a one-to-one with Williams.
all right.
Yeah, that kind of took a turn. I didn't expect her to actually deal, so I'm like, okay, how's this gonna work? What?
Yeah, I don't know if, because with how this, how complicated this plant. Hello.
Hello?
Been called into the captain's ready room.
Mm-hmm. Arrives promptly.
Well, I'm here to kind of go over your result of the tests. I believe that you passed my first test, which is the standard, which is just a combat agile to see your capabilities of using onboard tactical systems with flying colors. And before I actually read down the second testing results, any opinions about Lost test? Well, Lost's part.
It was interesting.
How so? Because he never told me what his test was gonna be.
Oh, just an interview to see if I was a match for his command style, because even though I would be your security command chief of security, I would more likely than not be working closer to him.
I mean, you would still have to
Oh,
follow his, or does it, if you're a part of a away team, because usually
that's more what I was talking about, Captain. Yes.
okay.
We're in a me and you are on the same page, because if I'm on an away team with him, he wants to know that me and him will work well together and have similar opinions on certain subjects. Basic interview.
Williams, give me insight command difficulty 2.
Inside command. Ooh, not security. Ooh. Luckily, that's only one less. What was that again? Insight command difficulty 2.
Mm-hmm.
Interrogation?
Not really. I'm more looking for protocol,
Persuasion?
Starfleet regs,
Nope. So I don't have focus.
moral compass.
No. I have fighty things, and I am fit, and I'm good at talking with people in certain situations.
I mean, isn't Starfleet protocol a free focus, or am I being confused about that?
No,
That's a
just a
free
focus.
directive. So it's a free determination.
You can have Starfleet protocol as a focus.
You can.
You know what? Screw it. I haven't used this session, and there's not super long left of the session. Compared, like, we're closer to the end of the session than the start.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a use determination.
On what
Which
value?
I hope. I got a couple that could work here. Either in a small colony you can't keep secrets.
What's your other ones?
I still don't understand people who aren't from small colonies. And then the last one that I was thinking was, my values must be flexible like my commanders. And that is commanders as in plural of...
Plural. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your first one.
Okay. Obviously...
That's automatically 2 successes. Did you want to buy any extra dice?
Yep.
You're just gonna roll 2 for
Nope,
momentum.
just gonna roll. Here's hoping. Nothing bad. Roll 20. There we go. Ooh, all the dice.
3 momentum. Okay.
Obviously.
So, thinking back to our days, when you joined the service and you went through boot camp on Mars, it was drilled into you things about duty and protecting the Federation, and always being always telling the truth, being a soldier for the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much of that one scene from Next Generation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're not an officer, but you're still part of Starfleet, and Starfleet is a promise.
Yes.
Never leave Eve a man behind.
You should also remember that in my backstory, I was part of a colony defense group first.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just wanted to remind you of that and the oaths you took.
Captain,
Yes, Williams.
what's your opinion on the what are they called again? The Liberation Front?
Temporal Liberation Front.
Yes.
They are a group that think that changing the timeline for the quote-unquote greater for the greater good is the best option. Effects on the timeline be damned.
Where terrorists gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
And how they're almost the cause of my death, the potential heat death of a sun that would have destroyed Starbase Aegis, and the cause of our previous ship, the Savalin, being destroyed.
For 2 momentum and Calder, or I will give you a realization.
Okay.
These all these East Temple incursions, they've been against the Starbase, against you, against the Gungnir, against colonial efforts. Whatever you are trying to do out here, it seems that at the Temporal Liberation Front is trying to stop. They're trying to stop the Silk Road. And just in talking about this and in recounting in your history, this realization for a motive kind of comes to you.
Okay, I think I'll come to this realization, and then I'll say, I think I found out why the what's the this group's main reason for doing these. They want to damage or potentially destroy our efforts in this section of space. I don't know to what cause. Maybe to allow one small group to actually have more space, because they could be somewhere near the border of this empty catch of the Silk Road to actually try and make their empire larger and not a fraction of what it should be if we didn't expand.
In other words, they're trying to stop colonization. They're trying to stop colonies.
Yeah.
Like your
Could you-
home, Williams.
Mm-hmm. She would bite her lip and say, "The commander."
What about him?
Think about why I would bring him up after what you had just said. Come on now, you're a captain. I don't want to just spell it out for you, but I will if I have to.
So what you're saying is there is a possibility that Ross might not be who he is?
Oh, I think he is who he is. He more or less came out and said it to me that he's a part of them. No more or less about it, actually. He basically asked me to join them and help him.
Okay.
And yes, I do realize it's my word, a chief petty officer, against that of a commander.
Give me a minute. I got a phone thing to do.
Oh, goodness.
Really?
Sorry. It's
No, it's fine.
kind
Go ahead.
of a family thing. It's fine.
The awkwardly silence. So what thoughts are going through Williams' heads right now?
Internal screaming. Either she's passed the test and has done everything right, or she's failed. There is no middle ground.
The quantum promotion. You're both promoted and not promoted.
Schrodinger's promotion.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I am going to tap my comm badge.
If
And
all right, go ahead.
and pretty much say, Commander, she passed your test.
And let's all go back to the ship chat.
You could get, but they're back.
Sorry about that. All the secret stuff going on in the background.
Yeah,
Right,
please.
right.
Calder, repeat your last comm.
Okay, I tapped my comm badge, said to contact Ross and say, Commander, she passed the test.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And Williams has a little seizure.
Heart attack.
Internally.
Did the doctor leave, or?
Yeah, it looks like
she
Yeah,
said she was having a
migraine.
headache.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
she's got a migraine. I'm in a game with her later, and she's posted that in that game.
Ah,
So I can't
Yeah.
play. My head is killing me.
okay.
As a person who gets migraines often, I completely
Oh yeah,
understand.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's-
That's cool.
I think
Therefore,
like I imagine Ross is literally like the equivalent of behind a door and walks in, and then I'll have Ross explain the test. Well, his test.
yeah.
So
yeah,
did I
totally
did
do
I
this.
sell it well?
Surprisingly,
I mean, it was tempting. Don't get me wrong.
But you came through in the end. You stuck to your Starfleet principles and followed the Starfleet and Federation law, right?
Moral that they're targeting colonies, and colonies are my home.
yeah, we both came to that realization while
Having a conversation.
yeah, so we actually now know their main motive. So no. So once again, Williams has been great help.
I don't have to physically do anything or, well, interrogate someone to be of help. Just another mind to bounce ideas off of.
I mean, still a good help and better manners than the EMH.
We hope.
I mean, the image is
make-
a lightweight.
The only promise I can give you is that if I need to knock someone out, I will be able to do that quite efficiently.
Just, yeah, I understand. Just, because of this, because of this post, you'll be taking you. You'll be more of a example of Starfleet towards the galaxy.
Of course.
So just trying not to break too many regulations or directives while doing these plans, but remember.
Oh, I
But-
yeah.
Should we tell Sorrel what we did? He's probably wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. You explain, because this is a test.
Basically, when I took the chief back for their interview, I told them that I was an agent from the future with the Temporal Liberation Front, and that I needed their help to get the latinum off the ship, and needed their assistance. and if they would help me do that, we could work together and do that to prevent the Federation from becoming an evil empire. I try to appeal to their ethics and doing the bigger right thing, and I wanted to see if she'd rat me out, which apparently she did. So
Yeah.
Took
Wow.
a little bit. There's a couple rolls in there, but
felt it's logical to respect the command structure, Chief Williams. Congratulations.
Ever so
So-
slight blush and scratches the back of her head. They're overselling it.
Uh,
I think what I really want to do now is go in there tomorrow with a phaser and say, it wasn't a test, I'm taking the latinum.
Please don't. She'll shoot back.
okay. So with this, we'll have a more official ceremony for your new commission, and with the time here and now, if you want some personal effects for your new now would be the time to either go shopping or call home to have them send stuff you would like.
Oh no, I'll be fine.
We'll replicate you a cat.
Wait, what?
I take it
Yeah.
she's moving into the senior crew quarters, and so bigger space.
Mm,
Yeah, no longer part of
no
the
more bunkmates.
no more bunk hall.
No.
Captain, did you want to do a big formal ceremony on the 10 forward, or would you just hand her the pip right now and make it a small thing?
I mean, pretty much like the equivalent of Cisco's promotion, where only he was wearing the dress uniform, while everyone else was just wearing the normal uniform to kind of show this transition for them. So
So she's in her dress uniform, and the rest of us are standard.
yeah, kind of like how it was with Cisco's, like,
Cisco going to captain. Yep.
yeah. So yeah, let's do it like
I'm not gonna make you.
Was there a
you
change
read-
of rank or?
yeah.
I'm not gonna make you read the whole thing, but this is basically a field commission by the order vested in you as a captain in Starfleet. You find and Chief Petty Officer CPO Williams to be a strong spirit, noble in mind and heart, and upholds the ideals of the Federation. And by the power vested in you grant her the rank of ensign.
Oh.
And I hand her the lieutenant.
Oh, you're bumping her to a lieutenant? I mean, you could.
Well, that's the rank you kind of have to be for chief of security.
So you skip a whole
Right,
rank.
would be
You
the
are now
lowest.
Lieutenant Williams.
Yeah, because like that's the minimum rank for chief of security. Like I actually researched.
And I'm not just skipping one rank, I'm skipping multiple.
I mean, Tom Paris did too. And
Lieutenant, are you going to? Yeah, you're skipping Lieutenant JG, going straight to Lieutenant.
And I'm skipping
And moving
ensign.
from enlisted to officer.
Yeah, enlisted to officer, skipping ensign, Lieutenant JG to lieutenant.
skipping
Yeah.
a bunch of non-commissioned officer ranks.
well, I mean,
Somewhere I see a very angry Harry Kim staring off into space.
I
Got a
mean,
promotion.
Well,
myself.
I mean, pretty much.
Meanwhile,
You just ignore the like your current career path, because you're jumping into a like the equivalent of like specialist to just command to the officer. So like from non-commissioned to commissioned officer.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's
I-
kind of
ceremony.
so it's a bit lateral Oh, it is a move upward, but it's not quite as much of a jump upward as you think it is.
Yeah.
Because Chief Petty Officer is a really high
Yeah.
enlisted rank.
Yeah, so pretty much you'll be just jumping to the commission officer's equivalent of that, and then to the rank, because like after me like above game, me looking through the wiki to find the minimal rank of chief of security, I found that it was lieutenant, unless
Yeah.
And you have full authority. You need to give them whatever rank you feel is necessary. So, congratulations, Williams. You are now Lieutenant Cassidy Williams.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Here.
You're here. Hip hip hurrah! Hip hip hurrah!
Here's a simple
Oh yeah, like
yeah.
during the actual thing, she's super professional, but then like the moment it's like off duty, she's like,
Yes. I imagine an almost straight 10 minutes of deflating.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make it too easy.
And we are
Alright.
bringing in the non-synthahol champagne.
Oh boy.
Oh, you're bringing in the good stuff.
Mm.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Well, you kind of have to with a commission like this. We dishonest some people who toasted to synthahol.
You say that, but
And with much merriment and drinking, and you celebrate the night. And about a week later, you arrive at Starbase Aegis. The Starbase is a lot busier than it was previously. As you can see on screen, there are several civilian ships, including a Tholian vessel, that are currently docked inside, and then outside there's a civilian freighter that is currently beaming in goods back and forth, and there is an Orion vessel hanging out in orbit.
Wait,
Orion, you say?
Have I ever been to Aegis with what happened to me?
Yeah, you were here previously.
Oh yeah, yeah, dang, the whole prisoner transfer. Okay.
That's where you came back from the dead, right?
So the Starbase is alive and hopping. There's a lot of personnel running about. Most of them are Starfleet officers, but there are some local colonists who have come by to start trade or get supplies as for their homes. And yeah, as you pull up, you actually get a pull up to dock. You actually get a hail from the Orion vessel. It is someone familiar. You put it on screen?
Yes.
And on screen is a very friendly, a large Orion man, a Mr. Anon. Starfleet! It is very good to see you. I have taken up orbits around your starbase. I heard that there was a great and terrible battle several sectors away, and I I wanted to be available for goods and relaxation. And I wish to open up my ship to any and all who would like to relax and revel in the goods of the galaxy that they have just saved.
Is this the mobile brothel?
Yes. I mean, he's not going to say that out loud, but yeah, pretty
I'm not
much.
going to.
I'm confused, Captain. Exactly what services is this man offering?
Pleasure services.
Well, I'm going to wait until he finished the transfer's over. So I'm not being rude to the man.
I mean, are you and anyone on your ship interested in services? As I can give you transporter coordinates.
I will not be in need of such services for 3.5 years.
Intently going TMI, dude.
We'll put that in our calendar so we know. It's about time for Sorrel's Prom Fire.
Yeah.
I'm also asking out of character if you are allowing any of your crew to indulge in such services, or if you're gonna not allow them to take part in such shore leave.
Caption, should we send someone aboard just to see if they have, any illicit cargo, any Borgified weapons and the like?
I imagine that. Deep Space Aegis has already done it with their chief security.
Maybe I should go over there and spend a couple of days, doing inspections and whatnot, just to verify that. I'll be undercover, so I'll be taking advantage of the services, but be working as well.
I have no idea if the friendly suspended, well, people going to the friendly suspended would be against some form of regulation, because I imagine.
I mean, if the captain gives people shore leave and doesn't put any restrictions on said shore leave, as long as it's legal, it's fine.
And he will definitely say that, of course, this is all legal, above the table activity. We're just companionship.
Insight.
Yeah, I want to insight.
And no one's coerced or sold and slaved. No, everyone has signed contracts and they're well compensated for any of their services. And
Insight.
I
just love that the both
command,
are
security.
Insight, security, difficulty.
I think I saw this season of Altered Carbon. So.
Interrogation.
If you're gonna actually question him, and yes, otherwise I'll take an increased comp. And the difficulty is gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to justify this. Difficulty 5.
Oh wow.
He's really hiding his stuff.
I'll assist you and give you a directive.
No, I'm not good at insight.
My insight's a 9.
What's your security?
4.
We have the exact same number. Either one of us can do it.
I mean, can I use command, GM? Because
I will allow you to use command.
Okay. Because
and I'll just assist you. So I would assume just roll 1 dice. Comp 1.
Yeah. Okay, I am going to.
I won't use focus because. So here's my assisting of the captain with the noticing of the evil. No help.
Okay, I would like to spend the 3 momentum for up to 4 dice and spend 3 to get a 5th dice. And I would like to use my Starcross if I'm remembering the metal, because for some reason the description's not on here.
The one that doubles your focus range, so you crit on a 10.
Yeah, let's do that, and the Declaration of Gallantry.
And that's the roll challenge. I see how many threat I get.
Well, yeah, that metal.
Yep. All right. So roll 3 challenge dice.
You mean 4 challenge dice?
No, it's 3 and 3, or up to 5 dice.
Oh, really? Okay.
No. No. All right. And you may roll your 5 dice. What
Okay.
focus are you using?
Either Starfleet Protocol, Diplomacy, Leadership, or Forensic.
Diplomacy or forensics?
Let's do Forensic.
Okay.
I'm going to re-roll that crit fail.
All right.
That, well, 1 should be a 2.
All right.
And so is that 1.
All right. So you made it. Give me 1 moment.
Whew.
I imagine him being like, oh my god, he rolled 10 successes.
The GM's like, okay, I need to search through my rules. No.
I'm
no.
like,
Chrome.
this is,
Don't die on me, Chrome.
oh no.
Currently getting the spinning blue circle of spinning doom.
Oh no.
The best.
Never mind, it's fixed.
I did the equivalent of rolling a crit on on attack with sneak attack, and a lot of those sneak attack dice ended up being 6s.
Okay, I'm back.
So that's 10 successes,
10 successes under 5.
and I have 2 bonus momentum because of lead investigator.
This is an investigation. Alrighty then. He is operating Federation space, so if he is breaking the law, he is skirting awfully close to it. You don't have any of his records and stuff, but you can intel that he is wink and nod providing the services that you think he is, without actually saying it. And without actually saying it, he's not implying that yes, he is selling the services of a prostitute, but he is instead saying, no, these are escort services and you know, massages and that kind of stuff. And whatever happens behind closed doors, I'm totally not culpable for. And these people are paid, and they have signed contracts and rights, and they don't do anything that they don't want to do, but they don't want to do anything under threat of violence. But no, everything's above board here.
Hmm.
I would like to use like pretty much would like to use the 2 bonus momentum to figure out like if this thing is legal, then you wouldn't mind us doing this type of scan / investigation that would find something wrong, like this super specific and niche kind of investigation / scan. If you catch my drift.
Checking for illegal weapons and stuff.
I think a better spend is if he was hiding something, what would it be?
If he was hiding something, you get the idea that he would be hiding either if he was hiding something, he would be me hiding records, contracts, X payment, his black book, as well. He could also be a smuggling front, illegal weapons, illegal goods.
Okay, the best way to do it is I would like to spend 2 momentum to pretty much bring up this quick inspection that would surprise him and pretty much give him not a lot of time to actually cover up if he needs to cover up.
So just walk on board. Yeah. With the 2 momentum, you can create the advantage is that you have a legal cause to walk onto the ship and do an inspection or even just a scan of a ship, if you would like.
Like I want this to be a surprise and immediate inspection because it is in preparation, and I'm saying like if you got nothing to hide, then you wouldn't mind this quick and easy inspection.
Why, I of course. I mean, I can't have you coming onto the ship during business hours. It would disrupt things, but I could invite you over for a private tour in, say, 3 hours.
No. Wait, above game. John. Yeah, would I be? Could I still do this as immediate because?
Oh yeah. You have all legal rights to do this immediate. He's trying to do BSU.
Okay.
Yeah. That momentum spend would say no. Right here in this regulation, I can come on. I have probable cause to come onto your ship and do surprise inspection.
Yeah, so I'll try and set this up, and if you need to like instead of giving him like him having 3 hours, he's having 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So yeah, he has 5 minutes to try to hide any evidence he has. Who are you sending over, or who would like to do the boarding action?
Sounds
I
like it's a
would
job for
assume-
Chief of Security.
Yes, I was about to say, I would assume Chief of Security and the Commander would do it. At the very least.
Sorrel, what would you be doing during this action?
Sorrel would be monitoring the sensor station, keeping an eye on the ship to see if it anything changes when the boarding party goes over.
Okay. And Ross.
I'll go over
All right.
to supervise and question.
Cool.
All right. You all. Manage is to go over. Quick boarding action. Mr. Anon on his very flabbergasted goes, please, you're gonna ruin my profits. Please reconsider. And just trying to stop you from doing what you're doing.
Well, if you're not doing anything illegal, it won't affect your profits.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, you beam onto the main deck. There's lots of beaded curtains and small quiet hidey holes around the place. Several scantily clad men and women are dancing and paying attention into several civilians who are slipping them in bits of latinum every few minutes. But out here on the deck, they're just kind of dancing, and the Orion guards are making sure that they're not touching the merchandise, so to speak. In fact, as you beam over, one of the Orion and guards thumps a teller right on the head who was getting handsy with a woman who was dancing. There's also an interesting smell in the air, as there's a thin, hazy smoke all over the place.
These are Orion pheromones, because I still have.
They're not Orion pheromones.
Okay.
Orion wacky tobacco?
I would assume this is either a science or a medicine check of some form.
No check yet, but if you want to ID it, you can make a roll for it, but you're not affected by it yet.
Oh, no, yeah, I was more saying I want to identify it, yeah. I'm not good at those. I'm not good at either of those.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at those, in fact.
Yeah.
Reason medicine diff 2 to ID this.
Commander?
What do you?
Are you doing that or am I?
I'm not. I would be rolling. I would be rolling a 7 for reason and a 1 for science or medicine. I am not good at this particular skill.
All right, well, I'll give it a whirl.
Would you like to buy additional dice?
Yeah, I'll use 1 point of momentum to buy an additional one.
I will not assist because I'm more likely going to end up giving a red dice. And you don't need it.
Indeed. That is wacky tobacco. Legal, just in a very higher concentration than you're used to. They're definitely hotboxing this place.
Well, I think we should progress with the health and safety inspection.
Yes.
As you're walking around, and there are a few of the customers who see you and kind of jolt in, kind of whoa, hold on, I'm not doing anything here. They like back further into their chairs and hold their hands up like, no, I'm totally innocent. I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll just give them a friendly wave.
Yeah, just a wave.
And
What I want to do is start scanning for hidden compartments, weapons, dampening fields, that kind of thing.
Likewise.
absolutely. Fortunately, this is a pretty difficult roll, and sure, let's have a little fun with this. Difficulty 4, complication 2. Just try to find something. Ross,
You want to take the lead in that one, or I can
Ross,
assist?
you can use engineering if you're looking for energy fields and hidden compartments.
Okay, so reason engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Williams, you want to assist on that one?
Sure. That's something that I'm at least decent at. Reason, you said?
I'll spend 1 momentum to give me 3 dice.
So I would set my comp to 2 as well?
Yes, everyone's comp is that too.
I doubt shipboard tactical systems or interrogation would be usable as a focus.
Investigation, piracy.
Okay, let's just roll then. Here's the assist die. 1! Aha!
Sweet.
Sweet.
Momentum.
It takes a while, and it's actually in some of the lower decks. Quite surprisingly, you don't find any weapons, but you find a large compartment of drugs that are hidden away in some of the internal panels of the ship.
I'm assuming illicit drugs.
You
Illegal
believe
in the
so.
Federation?
You would have to idea, but yeah, there was efforts made to hide this.
I'm going to give our host a very disappointed look and say, it's got to be a couple of years in a penal colony.
At least. Depending on what it is.
Reason medicine. You can have the Gungnir Air's computer or assist with computer's medicine. You want to tie it into the database.
So reason, medicine, plus an assist from the ship.
Mm-hmm.
One. Impedance plus medicine. Come on, ship, help. Be a good ship. Very good ship.
Very good ship. Indeed, this is an illicit drug, and I will give you the information. There we go. The information has been sent to your tricorder, Rost.
Pixie dust, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is very disappointing. You've been such a generous, kind host. I would hate to have to bring you in on illicit drugs charges. We'd have to confiscate your ship, everything on it. Oh, the legal hassles would be endless.
Calder, what would you be doing during this time as Williams and Ross are scanning the ship? Would you be talking to our fine, distinguished host, going through computer records?
I had to go through computer records.
All right.
Is he with us or is he somewhere else? As we're doing the inspection?
Do you want him with you, or would you like?
Not
keep
really,
him
but
away?
I didn't know if he'd followed us around or what.
He would attempt to follow you around and continually pleading you to stop, and trying to distract you, not working too well.
We'll go back up to the main deck for the captain and show him what we found.
Calder, reason security difficulty 4 to pull through the computer system and get their records.
Could Sorel assist on that role? Or help?
Absolutely,
in some
you
way?
can assist, and then the Gungnir's computer security can also help.
Okay, spending 1 threat 2 momentum for 4 dice.
Okay.
Would computer systems or forensics? No, security systems or forensics work?
Forensics, definitely.
I'm spending my dedication to do roll the 1-0. Oh no, wait, I forgot about 2 assists. Never mind.
And then the ship's computer security.
I'll get it.
Does the ship help?
Yes.
Ship helps.
Ship helps. You gain 1 momentum.
The ship is clearly the best
He
character.
does have a black book file, but it is heavily encrypted, and it just has like notations, numbers, code names, initials. It will take a while to dig through and figure out what's going on in here.
I would like to make a copy and send it to the ship.
Yeah, 1 momentum, you can have a copy and look over that.
Yep. So that will be something that's either security or science.
Well, Captain, I think I may have a way to access this information the easy way.
Oh, how?
All we have a list.
it's not accessing the information that's the issue. It's that the actual data file is heavily encrypted and clipped.
Yeah, but I think I have a way to get the encryption key from our host. Is an illegal shipment of pixie dust, which would probably earn somebody a few years in a penal colony, unless they were cooperative.
Yeah, I'm going to see if he would be obliged to not spend 4 years in a penal colony, maybe even less time at a penal colony.
Maybe not lose his ship or.
Okay. I will surrender the drugs and give you the information, and if you agree not to arrest me today, possibly I could also give you insight on some of the other underground activities.
If you make sure you want to do stuff like what's the stuff like this again, then you're fine.
Well, a man has to make a living out here. What do you suggest? Yes, I do.
Don't get caught next time.
No.
Be a reputable businessman.
I mean, if his ship doesn't have a bar, have a bar.
He does have a. He does have a bar. In fact, he has a strip bar, so to speak, with various levels of nudity.
I meant more like, well,
sell legitimate and alcohol and stuff.
Okay. Got any ideas what this port of brothel can do to increase profit that's also legal? Or, well, 90%
Oh, it's
legal?
not a brothel. I don't know what you're talking about. Nope, totally not. Nope. Don't be putting words in my mouth, Federation.
I mean, are brothels illegal? Because I mean, I don't think Vulcans care about prostitution, because the
Federation would only be
Coerced prostitution would be.
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. They're only concerned if it's coerced or sex trafficking and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Amsterdam, man.
Yeah, like as long as both parties consent and money's exchanged.
Not that we believe in money, but you know.
Yeah.
Some form of transaction is made.
Yeah. I don't see the Federation being too uppity about it. So long as all parties agree.
Hey, Williams, can I borrow a couple strips of latinum?
Just looks at him. I'm sorry, the last latinum I had was spent and trying to outdrink Klingon.
So I'd like to ask him if he knows our guy from, what was it, the fire crotch? What was his name again? It's been a while.
The
His
Hulk?
name the
Oh,
Hulk.
yes, that's it.
Because I am so imaginative with names. Oh, that character. Yeah. He's dealing with stuff that even I don't want to touch.
Such as?
Weapons of even the unsavory type. Even worse than disruptors.
Have any ideas on how we can get a lead on him? Find out where he is?
I don't know. Oh, such information would be very valuable.
More valuable than your freedom?
I was thinking the exact same thing, Commander.
Oh, goodness. Alright, fine. Obviously he doesn't make the weapons himself. They are made. I am not sure where he picks them up from, but I do know of a source of Borg nanites. That could possibly be his source.
What?
Illegal salvage operation over the border. Borg sphere are trapped in the gas giant.
The stupidity. It knows no bounds.
There have been in several illegal salvage types that have gone to this place and haven't come back.
I wonder why.
I've stayed far away from it. But if you are interested, I could absolutely give you the coordinates.
Well, I think it would be mutually beneficial. Be less competition for you if he were no longer in the game.
Very well, I'll give you the coordinates.
Cool.
And
Note the coordinates.
A little too easy there.
dragging you to the map. You are at Deep Space Aegis. And token. Oh, generic token and Starfleet objective. Let's make it a little further out. There we go. Gungnir is up here, and the Borg sphere is a sector and a half away. Far enough away from the Federation border that it hasn't been caught yet, but some adventurous criminals have run out there to do illegal salvage. Most of them don't come back, but most of them don't come back, but a couple of them have managed to salvage some things, and that has been the source of some illegal technology throughout the Silk Road.
Yeah, we're going to have to deal with that.
Just a little bit.
So you wouldn't happen to know anything going on with any of the Gorn around here lately, would you?
Gorn mostly keep to themselves unless you pay them.
Have you had any dealings with them or know anybody who has?
You're squeezing me here, feds.
See what he did there.
A penal colony can be quite tight.
Look, I really appreciate the help you're offering us. Even considering the conditions it's being offered in, but it would be the right thing to do if you know anything to tell us.
I know that there are some Gorn that's been hanging out coreward of the Devil's Triangle. Not sure what they're doing up there. I saw the ships and went the other way.
Can you give us a little more detail on exactly where? And I'll use my telepathy to pick up if he's telling the truth.
Black and black. That is not a good look. Friendly. There we go. Star Trek. Up here, north of the Devil's Triangle. And the Devil's Triangle is a nigh impassable part of space. It has high energy flux. Subspace goes wonky. Communications impossible. Warp drives damn near impossible. So most people just go around it. And Calder knows of the big scary Greek symbol of why that area is so dangerous.
And why is that, Calder? Captain?
Say that again, dealing with a bit of connection problem.
Why is the Devil's Triangle?
Calder, you know of a big scary Greek letter reason why the Devil's Triangle is dangerous.
When ships go in there, they don't come out.
Most of them don't.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this with the people in this room.
You are not allowed to share this with anyone beneath the rank of captain.
Ooh.
I'm still going to say what I'm going to say.
Yep, go ahead.
Exactly. No, what I just said. That's...
Yep. Ships go in, they don't exactly go out.
Yeah.
Well, Captain, I think we've taken enough of our host's valuable time. He's been very cooperative, and I think maybe we could let him go with a warning this time with regards to the illicit materials found.
And as you are discussing this, Aegis map. Commander Sorrel, you get urgent communication in from Starbase Aegis.
I open hailing frequencies, I guess.
Use this as Gungnir. This is Starbase Aegis. Yes, come in.
Yes, this is Commander Sorrel.
We just had a security a breach in one of our weapons lockers. Someone broke into the weapons lockers on the starbase, is making a run for it. Need you to disembark now and intercept any ships leaving the system.
I report this to the captain, and I begin scanning for the escaping ship.
Captain, you are made aware.
Okay, I'm going to come and say, do you got a location of the perpetrator? Inside of the station.
Yeah, we have security teams intercepting them on deck 23. They're making their way up to the docking ring. We've locked down all ships. Save for yours.
Do they have a beat on him with internal sensors or?
Okay,
No. Oh, they just have reports from ground teams.
Gotcha.
Okay, I would like to figure out the best route to intercept this dude.
Hey,
Yes, Williams.
you need someone to intercept?
Indeed, I do.
Have a chief of security.
I know, but more of the,
Figure out a
Maybe
good
a
place
good
to
helmsman.
intercept them. Yeah.
yeah, like finding out like the best path to actually get between him and where he wants to go. Because
We assume he's headed to the docking ring. Do we have the schematics on the space station?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you absolutely have the schematics. Actually, to get
You're
up
still
to
in the station?
yeah, they're still on the station and they're running through the station and they're on foot running towards the
Oh, I
docking
see.
ring, and they're just letting you guys know.
okay, so let's are we still in the station or in the friendly spin?
The away team's still on the friendly spin at this point.
Okay, let's quickly get back to the station and then either ask the station's computer to give us to give us the fastest route to this perpetrator.
And have it lock down all docking clamps.
Yeah, they said all ships except ours, but I'll have a security personnel guard the ring.
Mm-hmm. All right. Where would you like to beam in the docking corridor, or do you want to be on the lower levels near the promenade?
From where he's coming from, where would he go first?
They're coming up from the lower levels. They're going to run past the medical bay into the promenade, and they would have to take a shuttle. They have to take a turbo lift from the promenade to the docking ring.
So I might try and do a split up and say me and I'll summon a support crew.
Okay.
To have some form of like assistance. So I think the best way to have two stay here and two go to the try and block the table lift doors. So that way if they get past us, there'll still be a line of defense.
Okay.
All right. Williams and Ross run down to the promenade. All the civilians are still milling about. There is a good couple hundred There's civilians in here, and Starfleet security is chasing two young humanoids. One male, one female.
They're headed our way.
Yes.
I would like to do the awesome Black Widow takedown.
I was just
Alright.
going to push a trash can over in front of them.
Ah, fuck that. We're Starfleet.
Oppose daring security.
Daring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Complication.
No complication, but this is opposed, so you have to,
Hand-to-hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
Focus. I won't look at any of those because those are damage effects. Yeah, let's use momentum.
I'm gonna spend 3 threat and have them spend in their determination free as the wind.
Mm-hmm. So they've got 2 successes, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Well, here goes everything. Ow. They just have to avoid
worries.
rolling. Yep.
They succeed with 2. Of course I don't have a melee.
Can I just draw my phaser and stun them? One of them?
Oh, come on!
No, that's fine.
Yeah. You can tell this person is not really, tactically strong.
I'm better at control than daring.
You get all of 2 stress. As you go for the Black Widow
Woo.
takedown, but they're able to spin their way out of it.
I have 18 stress left.
Oh no. One of them's behind you. Yeah. Players keep the initiative for free.
Alright, I'll attempt to stun one with a phaser.
Okay. The girl or the boy? Cassidy just tangled with the girl.
I guess it'll be the boy then.
Alright. Control security diff 2.
I use 1 point of momentum.
Oh, unless you got something, that's a miss.
Looking. I've already used my determination. I don't have anything that'll help us metal-wise. Any other suggestions on how I can improve that?
Nope. determination? Unless you've already used it.
I've already used it.
Do you have a milestone of making a phaser shot?
Nah, it's not worth it. I'll take the miss.
All right. It is now their turn. He is going to. Yeah, he's gonna take a shot. You, Rust, you shot him. I shoot back. Don't want to do this, man. That's a hit.
You.
Or, yeah, I'm just gonna spend one more, make that an even 5 damage. Rust, you have an injury. He hit you in the chest. Do you wish to avoid it or just take the hit?
I'd like to avoid it.
Okay. 2 momentum, or 2 threat.
I'll give you the threat.
All right. You still take the 5 damage, but you are not out of the count yet. It's
That's
now
5 stress.
Yep, 5 stress. But you are still up. Calder. There's a firefight happening down the corridor.
I will. It's holding action. I think I forgot.
Yeah, it can be pretty much.
Okay, hold my action and be pretty much ready to go. Freeze.
All right. So
And
if
I'll
they
also-
if they go up the corridor, you're going to yell at them to freeze.
Yep, I think they might stand down with realizing they're in a tight spot with 2 phases pointed at them.
All right. And
I mean,
so-
they're running around in a space station. Can't we use internal security systems like?
You can, and you would have to get into the Starbase systems and activate them. But yeah, that's totally an option. You can set up security fields around them.
Okay.
Sorrel, would you like to do that?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how difficult do you want these security fields to be?
I'm gonna say a 3.
3, and then... Alright, so control, security, 1 hit diff 3, plus 1 diff, because you're trying to do it from your from the Gungnir's console to the Aegis station. And then the station assists with if structure your security.
Control and security. So that's a no. And a start with 2. I'm going to give you, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna roll 4 die, so I'm gonna give you 2 threat and spend a momentum.
Okay.
Let's do it. Damn it. That could have gone better.
Calder, can you pull up the Starbase Aegis sheet?
Yeah, give me a minute. Try to sleep. Find. Yep, there it is.
Just underneath the ship.
Yep. What do I need to go?
Structure and security. Starbase. It has surprisingly good structure.
Can I use my determination to re-roll?
Yes, you may.
That's what I'm going to do. Bloody hell.
Okay. I'm gonna give my determination to you.
And actually, Sorrel, I forgot to ask, what value are you using?
Every problem has a solution.
Yeah, this would be a good solution for this problem.
Yeah.
And Captain's giving you another one.
All right, try it again. That's
I mean,
better.
you could have just rolled the 3 zeros.
Okay, well, that's what I would have done. Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be 3, I guess.
There are 3 total and 1 complication. And on the
Any chance you have technical expertise?
On internal sensors, nah, I'm not really. I don't have any foci that are kind of security related. Best
Well,
I've got is computers.
No, I meant like the.
it's a talent.
Yeah.
A talent.
It's a talent that allows you to roll a. The
I
ship.
have I have testing a theory, but I haven't tested any theories up to this point.
Okay.
So.
And you have the
Can we?
complication.
We didn't re-roll the complication. I thought we re-rolled the.
The Starbase
on
itself.
the Starbase's company.
Yeah.
So can I choose to succeed at cost?
If you spend 2 momentum to quash it, and then you can
Quash the
succeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna do that.
Yeah, I'll allow that. Sounds good. As you tie into the computer systems and set up the security field, unfortunately, the cost is since the 2 people, since the 2 culprits are on opposite sides of Ross and Williams.
I've trapped them in the
You trapped all 4 of them into
Yeah.
a field together. So, Williams and Ross, you are in a box with 2 criminals.
No, they're in a box with.
Yes, yes.
I had to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the end of the players round. Oh no, I'm trapped in a box. I don't want to be. Sure. I have some engineering. This is gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try. It's gonna be hard, but I am going to attempt to hack the system.
Hack the system.
And
Download the mainframe.
Download the mainframe. Oh god, that hurts. As a computer nerd, that hurts to hear.
Hack the world.
Hack the planet. Hack the planet.
Oh my god, yeah, I was gonna go there with it.
All right. Yeah. As the girl runs to a computer console, elbow strikes it to break the screen and starts pulling isolinear chips out. And I have to beat a 3, but I'm rolling 4 dice.
Free.
That's a 3. As the field on one side goes down, but they don't have. Yeah, they don't have the movement to run out. So they are unfortunately trapped there. It is now player's turn.
I'm gonna try and melee bat the lovely woman.
Pose daring security.
What was that?
Daring security opposed.
Yep. I'm gonna give you. It's free moment. It's free. Threat to have 2 extra dice, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I will spend that right back.
Focus, hand to hand.
Absolutely.
That. Well, here we go.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh no.
That's not good for her.
Nope. Nope.
This is where I bring up the fact that my melee attacks have vicious 1 and intense.
Yes. I have the same thing with my. I have the same thing with my security officer. I break limbs.
That was definitely a pour the boiling oil over the head roll.
Go ahead and roll that damage. Unarmed strike.
I'm not sure if I've set up. So what do I do for attacks?
It's 1 plus your security score, and then each effect will have vicious 1 and intense 1.
Okay, so I just click the melee button on weapons.
Yep, melee button on weapons, and then you get 1 extra dice.
Okay, I forgot to do the extra dice, but.
You have security 5, so you'd be rolling 6 dice total.
Oh. 1. I'm gonna click. Now I see it. Okay. Do that. Wow, game.
2, 4, 6, 8, and 4 to stay up. Yeah. I can't even stay up. You. Yeah. How do you take her out?
I do the looming over her as she's turning to run away, and then just like, hello, bam, just cold cock her in the side of the face with a fist. Yeah. She crumples to the ground. Look over at the dude and just I give him are we gonna keep doing this? Look.
And for the complication, yeah, I have to do this. Complication. You cold cock her in the face. Her head slams into the wall panel. She just broke open, and she cuts up her face real bad, and all the glass shards.
Oh.
That's her fault.
That injury looks nasty. One of it went into her neck.
Comm badge. Urge. Teleportation 1 to the medical bay.
Unfortunately, it is no longer your turn. Do you wish to keep the initiative for 2 momentum, or would you like to swift task
sure.
and call that in?
Sure. I'll spend the momentum to have that called in.
Okay. Yes. Presence, medicine, or presence security. Need difficulty 1.
Presence security. Because...
wait, diff 2 because of swift task.
Yeah.
And just real quick.
I will spend 1 momentum to have 3 dice. No complication.
No complication.
Persuasion for a focus.
Yes.
Wow.
All the momentum.
Suddenly my rolls are good. I'm worried for my Pathfinder game that's in a half an hour.
Yep, as she dematerializes and heads to the sick bay. Do you wish to keep the initiative and have another player go for 2 momentum?
Sure, why not? It's not like I'm currently like not making momentum out of nowhere.
Who would go next?
Commander?
All right.
Finish off the man, or at least get him to surrender.
Yeah.
Thing.
You're a little farther apart. You're like a couple steps away from each other, so phaser range.
Yeah, since he shot me, I'm gonna shoot back at him again with a phaser on stun.
Div 2.
Just don't roll a complication that involves me getting hit.
And the security field is still up on that side, I believe.
The security field is still up on the other side, so he has nowhere to run.
I'll go ahead and spend a point of momentum for an extra die.
Okay. And control security div 2. And there it is. And a move back and roll phaser damage.
Is that challenge dice?
Yes. And type 2 phaser would be 3 plus your security.
So 4 total.
Mm-hmm. Or, you spend 1 to either re-roll that, or 1 to get extra damage and put him down.
I'll spend it for the extra damage to put him down.
And he is knocked out cold.
Combat over, I would assume.
Combat is over.
I'd hit my comm badge and say, hey, individuals apprehended, Captain. One has been sent to the medical bay with injuries. The other is currently stunned and being detained by the commander.
I'll pick up the weapons that he had.
Yeah, and it's like a full duffel bag full of type 3 rifles, type 2 phasers, or phaser grenades,
Ooh, naughty, naughty.
landmines.
Well, somebody's going to be in trouble for them getting access to this.
Glad he didn't use any of that.
Yeah. Glad he didn't pull out one of the type 3s. He'd be in trouble.
You want to be chief of security for a starbase? I bet they're going to have an opening pretty soon.
I think our shit's a bit better.
And the idea is that eventually you'll start making NPCs to populate the Starbase staff.
Well, I guess have the medics check this guy out before taking him to the brig.
Yep. After a couple hours, the girl is out of surgery and is able to go to the brig, and this guy's back at the brig as well. Do you keep them separate, or?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
All right. Last scene of the night. Pretty much as soon as you catch them, they give up and go, okay, we're sorry, we didn't mean it, but we had no choice. And both of them are on the same line of it. Process them. The female is Sarah Tagalon, and human female 17, and the kid is the guy is Romulan human mix, 18 years old. Can you see the names underneath them?
Where are they?
They're up by the ship.
Sarah and Tulin?
Toulon, yeah.
Want to explain what you mean by you didn't have a choice?
Our colony is under siege. He's from a very bad man.
Which colony?
Takadente?
Can I see if he's telling the truth?
Insight Command, Diff 2.
I'm assuming I can assist with this.
I'm using my telepathy.
He's using telepathy. You can assist with Insight Security.
Inside security, interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume. Since I'm just assisting, I'll roll 1 die. And here we go. No help this time.
You got an extra one. He appears to be telling the truth, and he is extremely fearful, but not for himself, for others. I failed, and others are in danger now.
So you're saying someone is threatening your colony? And why did you come here? Just to steal weapons, to ask for help? What?
We didn't think in Starfleet would even want to help such a small colony. We're only 2,000 people. Seems you guys have bigger things to worry about than a tiny colony like us.
Commander, a word in private.
Mm-hmm.
We'll step to the side.
Yeah, just out of range of them hearing, but still like
Yeah,
close
obviously.
by.
Yeah.
Look, I know what those kids are thinking. From a small colony myself. We should help them.
They shot me, so I'm not too
They
thrilled
tried
about
to hit
that.
me. That just shows they're dedicated to what they want to achieve, which, by the sounds of it, is protecting their friends and family.
Well, they certainly weren't going about it the right way.
Yeah, but they're kids.
They're old enough to know better.
Not if they haven't had good role model to look up to. By the sounds of it, they don't have much in the way of contact with Starfleet, so...
Well, it'll be up to the captain and the Starbase commander to decide what to do with them. We can certainly look into their claim that their colony is being threatened.
Captain, what do you think?
I'll do whatever the captain says, but I know I'm new, but
I mean, I doubt they did that much harm, but how long would they be?
I did more harm than either of them.
I mean, I think a way to do it is to have our doctor look them over, and I know how this field, and they need help. We should bring them back to the colony and help them. Because we still got, well, I'm gonna confess, I still got to report to Naya with, because, wait, am I correct?
Yeah, you would have to fill out a report to Une about this, but if you want to take on this mission, You have the latitude to do so.
Yeah, let's. I think we should take this mission and while doing it, slowly pick at the data we recently acquired from the friendly spin. That way we won't have kind of the same thing as the whole credit box. Well, it's in the latinum kind of situation where it just sat there for almost half a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how long until it gets stolen originally?
You're at 3 weeks until you think it is so. Yeah, 3 weeks until the heist happens.
And how far is this colony?
Map. Actually, not that far. It is just south of Gamma Draconis.
Where is Gamma Draconis?
There. This guy.
Captain Fred?
Yep. As they explain the situation, they say that Rigelian and an armor and a lot of thugs come by their air planet every month or so, demanding a tribute in exchange for protection. And yeah, they are losing their homes, they're losing food, they don't have medical supplies anymore.
Okay, so we should definitely assist. So pretty much, so it's 35 for light years to get there. Don't know how long that'll take.
Don't know how I calibrated in this map. I think every square is 12 hours. Let me double check. Because each one of the big squares is one sector.
Okay, so that's 7 squares away. So that's 3.5 days.
Yeah.
Okay, 3.5 days, and to get to the kidnapping would be a day and a well,
Yeah,
3
day
squares.
and a half.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all we just gotta do is at least get there. I say
If we left today, we'd have heap of time. And we wouldn't want to be hanging around where the ship's going to be kidnapped for a long time before it actually happened.
I know.
At warp 7, 19 days. At warp 9.
I mean, compared to the Akira we're like 1 point warp faster.
Huh?
Wait, 1.5
yeah.
actually, I think.
Yeah, you can do 9.5.
Well, 9.8.
9.8 is like max speed. I don't know what your max cruise is.
It's actually on the main page. Well, on the bio.
9.2.
Yeah, 9.2. But
yeah, you get there in about a week.
Should be less than that for 9.2.
Oh,
I mean,
it's still
we could-
several light years, but yeah.
I'd say we at least spend 2 days to at least. Well, how many more days till the ship's back at 100% after the whole Dust Machine fight?
Your ship's your ship's good to go. You can pack up and leave now, and you can get there in time for next episode. And
Okay.
they say the reason why they're so desperate to steal from a Federation starbase is because he is due back soon, and they don't have enough tribute. So they were gathering weapons to fight off.
How many days until this tribute arrives? Well, until this man comes.
2 weeks.
Okay, yeah. So we have a week.
You can get there, and you have a week to make preparations.
Okay.
And with two stupid and desperate kids who decide to steal from a starbase, currently in your quarters, you take off towards the Hakadente system to save them from a gangster who's holding their planet hostage for his own needs. Just up. And with that, the credits will roll. Be sure to catch us next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. here on Twitch. It's to catch the next adventure on the frontier. Thank you to our awesome players tonight. And congratulations to Lieutenant Williams on getting in their commission. Music provided by Kevin McLeod. You can check out his royalty-free music at incomtech.com. As always, we are forever grateful to Modifius for giving us the tall ship, and the great bird of the galaxy, Gene Roddenberry, for giving us the stars to guide us. Until next time, fly true, stay safe, and take us out.